Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So now, after the first Vassa, the Buddha spent his time in Rajagaha. At the time, the Buddha's father, King Suddhodana. At the time he was retired. The king, in reality, the king was Patiya. He sent many messengers to invite the Buddha. In every group, there are 1,000 people. So they go and invite the Buddha. Fortunately, they have a chance to listen to the discourse given by the Buddha when they arrive at the monastery. At the end of the discourse, all of them attain arhatship. After attaining arhatship, they will never participate in any worldly activities. That's why they didn't invite the Buddha. Send another group. Altogether 10 groups. Finally, Buddha's playmate, Kaludayi. So here, his personal name is Udayi. He had black skin, that's why he's called Kaludayi. We also have many other Udayi. Then, when King Suddhodana was going to send him to see and invite the Buddha, the Kaludayi requested, if you allow me to be ordained as a bhikkhu, I will go and invite the Buddha. Then King Suddhodana said, it's up to you. If you wish to ordain also, you can ordain. But the main thing is that you must bring my son back to me. I want to see him. At the time, King Suddhodana was very old already, over 80. Then, Venerable, at the time, Kaludayi, the minister, had a chance to listen to discourse delivered by the Buddha in Rajagaha as soon as he arrived at the monastery. At the end of the discourse, he attained arhatship. Then he also became bhikkhu there. So one more thing. In this group also he attained arhatship. He also became ehi bhikkhu. We have to understand like that. He is not very simply bhikkhu, not simple arhat. He also attained second power, together with 5 second powers. So we can also say Chala Binya, arhat. So here I should introduce different types of arhat. The highest, the most qualified arhat is Patisambhita Pada arhat. Patisambhita Pada means analytical knowledges. They don't need to learn Tipitaka, they can understand Tipitaka naturally, without learning. They can also understand any of languages and grammar easily without learning. So in brief, Patisambhita Pada also includes psychic powers. Analytical knowledges, he also attains psychic powers. That's why Patisambhita Pada Arhat is the highest. Like Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Mahamoggallana, Venerable Mahakassapa, including Venerable Ananda. So Patisambhita Pada also can be 2 different types. That one is Arhat, another one is a non-Arhat. So Venerable Ananda was a non-Arhat Patisambhita. Similarly, later, if I have a chance, I have to talk about that one. We have one lady, Kulchudara, in Kosambi. So that lady is also Sotapanna, but also Parisamhita. She could know Tipitaka. So there are some special person who could attain Parisamhita, analytical knowledges, as a Sotapanna or Sagarakami, etc. So in brief, we have two types of Parisamhita Bhatta. Now, in the case of Arhat, Parisamhita Bhatta Arhat is the highest. Second one is Chalavinya. Chalavinya means 5 psychic powers, also Arhatship. This is called Chalavinya Arhat. This is second highest Arhat. The next one is Tivijapata Arhat. Tivijapata Arhat means 3 psychic power and Arhatship. 2 psychic power and Arhatship. This is called Tivijapata Arhat. That means if Tivijapata, they cannot fly in the sky. They cannot reach others' minds. But they can recall their past existences. They could know, they could see divine beings and very subtle objects. This is the Tivijapata Arhat. Now the last one is Kinasawa Arhat. This is just pure Vipassana vehicle. After practicing Vipassana, they attain Arhatship. This is the last type. Now, whenever Kaludai attain 5 psychic powers, that's why he is a Chalavinya Arhat. So after Arhatship, as he has promised to the king, he invited the Buddha to visit the Buddha's family in the Kapilavatthu. The Buddha accepted. So the Buddha set out very long journey up to maybe a few months there. It took a few months, more than 1 month. Then on the way, Kaludai brought the food from the palace by his psychic power. The first time when Kaludai visited Kapilavatthu, seeing the king, Surodhana, Buddha's father, the king asked Kaludai, "Oh, although you are disciple of my son, you have that kind of power, you can come here easily, you can go easily, you can bring many things easily with psychic power. What about my son? Can he attain that kind of things?" Then Kaludai explained, it's incomparable. Buddha's power and normal Arhat power. Buddha is most skillful in psychic powers or any other things like insight knowledges, analytical knowledges, psychic powers, and any Dhamma knowledges. So, Venerable Kaludai also explained some Dhamma to King Surodhana and Queen Vajapati Gautami and all other royal members, royal family members. Then, finally, if we summarize, the Buddha arrived at his palace. Maybe it take longer than 1 month. On the way also, the Buddha delivered many discourses. It doesn't mention what kind of sutta. We can understand only Anubhuvikata. And then Samukhansika Desana. I have explained, Dana Sila, etc. Right? Then, on arrival, many of Buddha's family members came to see the Buddha. But there are some elderly people. They just thought Siddhartha is just our nephew. Siddhartha is like our grandchild. And Siddhartha is like our younger brother. They have that kind of mind, that kind of mana. They don't wish to show respect. They just sent a younger person, just go and bow down. This is your uncle, this is your older brother, this is like your grandfather, for example. they may send many young people to pay homage to the Buddha. When seeing that, the Buddha realized it's not very proper, so he must play miracle power. Now, one more thing. At the time, Venerable Sariputta was not there. He was in Rajagaha. He didn't follow the Buddha. Then the Buddha realized, if I tame them with ordinary psychic power, they may not respect me. But they have seen Kaludai. That's why the Buddha creates very long walking path with jewelry, made of jewelry. Also, Buddha display the miracle as he display in Mahabodhi. Also, he will display in Savatthi later in the sixth Vassa. Then, when the Buddha display miracle powers, that means the Buddha can enter into the jhanas very quickly, or can determine very quickly, very rapidly. That is why, although the Buddha enter water kasina and fire kasina alternatively, because the Buddha can enter very fast, water and fire come out together. For example, left eye will be fire, right eye will be water. Alternatively, changing. Left eye will be water, right eye will be fire. Changing very quickly, finally, water and fire come out together. So when seeing that, King Suddhodana bowed down to the Buddha. So here I should say, this is the third time he bowed down to the Buddha. The first time when he was newly born, one of the ascetic, Kala Devila, visited the king and wanted to see Bodhisattva. At the time, the king wished his son to pay homage to the ascetic. But the Bodhisattva flying over to the Kaladevila and stopped in his knotted hair. When seeing that newly born baby at the time, King Suddhodana bowed down to the Buddha for the first time. Second time was in the rose apple tree, under the rose apple tree, when Bodhisattva was meditating, entering into the first jhana of Anapanasati. When he was a little boy, I have said he cannot walk at the time. He can sit down by himself. That age, you can imagine how young. At that time, he bowed down second time. This is the third time. He bowed down to the Bodhisattva. Known as the Buddha already. When Buddha's father himself bowed down to the Buddha, that's when all other family members, all other royal families bowed down to the Buddha. At the time, the Buddha wished Venerable Sariputta to came. Venerable Sariputta, accompanied by his disciples, approached the Buddha. In the assembly, Venerable Sariputta asked the Buddha, what is the life story of the Buddha? Buddha Vassa. So actually there are many stanzas in that, especially Buddha Vassa. Altogether, there are 951 stanzas, gathas, verses. So it's very long. Okay, I will give one simile, how Venerable Sariputta asks. That's me, how to fulfill parami? What are the parami? And how Buddha had to fulfill in the samsara? This kind of question. The Buddha also realized, listening to that kind of Dhamma, people may feel happy, rejoice, stronger pity, rapture, also will gain faith in the Buddha's more. That's why he explained how he had to fulfill the parami. Then here we have to say Dana Parami. I have explained about Dana before. Today also I have to explain a little bit. So we have many kind of Dana. In the case of the Bodhisattva, when he fulfill Dana Parami, he will not choose receiver. He will not choose the donation. He will not limit the time. So whether he was, this means whether the receiver is moral or immoral, he offer. Whether the property is good or bad, poor in quality or good in quality, he offer. Then whether he was poor or rich, in whatever condition he had, he didn't limit the time he will offer. This is his mind. So later, when he gave Dhamma talk to his disciple, the Buddha explained, Vicariya Dhanan Dadaban. That means you must offer by choosing receiver. Later the Buddha recommended like that. But when he really fulfilling parami, no choice. Because receiver is also important. When seeing receiver's mistakes or receiver doing something wrong, we can remorse, regret what we have done. That's why Buddha say, Vicariya Dhana Dadapa. Then, now two opposite things, two different things. One is don't choose receiver. Another is we must choose receiver. Which one's better? Right? If we don't choose, much better, right? Then one more thing. We have, when I was in the Pali school, one day our teacher gave this order. Amen asked him, Sayadaw, the Buddha said, Vicariya Dhanan Dadaban. We must choose receiver and offer. Then you also said, don't choose any receiver, offer anybody. It's totally opposite. Then our teacher explained, clever farmer, or we say wiser farmer and unwise farmer. If a wise farmer, he could plant in any soil, any places. He knows how to plant, what to plant. Then if unskillful, we must choose the place, soil. We also have to choose many other things also. So Bodhisattva is like skillful farmer. He knew how to plant, where to plant. All other people, we are not very skillful, so we must find special place to plant. That is the difference. Or anyway, now, in the case of the Dana Parami, we also have to know 3 different stages. Not only in Dana, there are many other Parami, so I cannot explain all Parami, so I just give summary. We also have 3 types of conduct or 3 types of practicing. It depends on our intention. So if we can do, the Buddha start with very wide things. That one is Lokata Chariya, practicing for the welfare of the world. This means all the living beings. So if we can do for the welfare of all the living beings, if we can serve for all living beings, it's the best. It's the highest quality. Similarly, we have a little bit smaller area. Nyadata Chariya, practicing for the welfare of relatives or mankind. That means as Singaporean, You have responsibility for Singapore. As a Buddhist man, I have a responsibility for Buddhism. As meditation teacher, I have a responsibility for meditation teaching. That means we have to work for our environment. This is second degree of perfections. Another thing, if there's nobody who can accept Dhamma, who can accept our help, we have to do Bodhacharya to realize or to understand the truth. That's what we have to do for ourselves. So dana is not that much easy to do. We also need receiver. We must also have donation things. We must also have faith or confidence or volition. If we have all these conditions, we can do dana. If we don't have all these conditions, we're going to do dana. But the most important thing is mind. Wise intention or good intention. For receiver, we can offer to the Buddha statues. Whether it's a good or bad, Buddha statue will never say no. Right? Another thing, donation things. Donation also we can get very easy. A cup of water also possible. A flower also possible. A small candlelight also possible. Donation. The main thing is our mind. We must have intention. What's the intention to offer? So in brief, if we do dana for the welfare of others, that's dana parami. If we just do dana for the welfare of ourselves, it's not dana parami. So that means we have to know what receiver needs. In my previous Dhamma also, I have already explained. In the summer, we need slipper, umbrella. The winter, blanket. Rainy season, umbrella. For example, that kind of things. We must have wise attention. This is not for ourselves, this is for receiver. If we have that kind of background knowledge, if we have that kind of good intentions, this can be parami, perfection. So that means, without wisdom, there cannot be parami. Even in dana, we must have wisdom. Similarly, without kanti, we're going to do parami. We're going to do dana also. For example, sometimes receiver are some problem makers. Right? So I don't like this, I don't like that, for example. Then we must be patient. Otherwise, we're going to do dana. Right? Then sometimes, no receiver, environment. Other people criticize. Your dana is like this, your dana is like this, not really very good, for example. Criticize many things. We are unhappy. So that means, if we are alone, we're going to do dana. So there must be two persons, receiver and donor. We can do dana. That is why, without kanti, we're going to do dana also. We're going to fulfill dana parami. That is why, although we offer very single things, we also have to understand there are many, many parami inside the dana. That dana also covers many other paramis. Then similarly, sila parami. This is our daily life. That's why I'm just talk about dana and sila. Right? Sila parami the same. We must have very strong background, very strong knowledge about sila. The first one is that sila must be able to produce concentration. That means we must be able to rejoice our morality, sila. I will give one example. Everybody know that story. I think almost all the people know that story. Venerable Tissa, Mahadisa. Many of meditation teachers explain that story. Broken legs. So, okay, if I summarize the story, he was rich. After ordination, before ordination, he gave all his property to his younger brother. Then the sister-in-law don't wish him to return or to come back That's why he hired executioners to kill Venerable Mahadisa. So Venerable Mahadisa lived in the forest alone. So when all the around 500 people go there to kill, when seeing many people, he asks, "Why do you come here?" They openly say, "We are going to kill you." Then Mahadisa requested, "Please allow me to meditate for one night." Then they also said, "How will you prove that you will not run away?" He picked up big stone, crushed his legs, broken legs, cannot run away. So you can imagine how painful it was, breaking bone. Then he also talked to the people. "I think it's enough for you. Then allow me to meditate one night." All the people are released. They live comfortably. Then he was going to meditate. What will be his meditation subject? Right? Many of teachers will say, pain, 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 pain. Right? Designing pain, 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 pain. But when we go to the original text, it doesn't mention pain. He just recollects his morality, virtues. He was very pure. That purity of morality made him delight. Then rapture, tranquility, happiness, then concentration. So we have a recollection of virtues, sila no sati. So if I say openly, he just do sila no sati for foundation. So by practicing sila no sati, we cannot attain jhana, only as a concentration. So that means when we have very strong delight, happiness, tranquility, concentration, we can forget everything in our body. Very strong delight. So when you have experienced tranquility in your body, you may know how to overcome it. Then, similarly, we also have many parts. If we are reading one book, for example, right? Very interesting. Reading one book, very interesting. Even although mosquito bite, we don't have time to remove mosquito. Just keep reading the books. Very interesting. For him, it's like that. Meditation is more interesting. That's the one he don't think about. He didn't think about his pain. Finally, based on that, as a concentration, he couldn't use vipassana, attain arhataship. That means the morality must be strong enough to produce concentration. If we have a strong morality, whenever we recall it, it can bring delight, rapture, tranquility, happiness. It also can bring concentration. Then he also say, if we observe precepts for the welfare of other living beings, that is sila parami. If we just think about our own welfare, it's not sila parami. That means not killing living beings. Okay, here I should explain the meaning of panadipada, right? Panadipada, we have 3 words. Pana, ati, pada. Pana means living beings or life. Ati means quickly. Pada means fall. So he will fall down his life within short time. This means he cannot live full lifespan, full lifetime because of our action. This is called panadipada. This means we make all other living beings lifespan shorter. This is called panadipada. So that means if we don't kill, they can live full life. That's for others, not for ourselves. That's why in the case of sila, there must be metta, there must be karuna, there must be khanti. Without that, we cannot do. Then, if we have fulfilled Sila Bharami, when the Sila Bharami become very mature, then there can be stronger perfection. It can be producing cause of concentration, it can be supporting cause of Nibbana. Then, here one more thing. How to text our Sila? Strong or weak? We have 4 things to text. The first one is in Pali, lava. Lava means gay. Now, anin. Anin and morality. If we have to choose one of the two, we know the theory. We must choose morality, right? We must not choose money. We know the theory. But in reality, how many times have we chosen morality? This is how mature we are. Similarly, family, friends, relatives, environment, and morality. We also know the theory, which one to choose. But sometimes we have to follow our friends. So follow friends, drink. Right? If we don't drink, also not very good friendship, for example, like that. That kind of thing can happen any time. Then, for example, sometimes we go to the restaurant, he orders something, for example, fish. Actually, some fish are alive. When you order, they will catch and kill and serve you. So that means you have to also eat in front of your friends, although you wish or you don't wish. If you don't eat, not very polite. So we have very, very many problems in our environment. At the time, how shall we solve? If we just follow precepts, we're going to have good relationship. That means if we can choose precepts, sure, we have very strong enough already. We have very strong, very mature precept already. So, if we can pass these 2 steps, this is a standard morality. Again, the next step, our bodily parts and morality. For example, if you tell the truth, I will cut your tongue. For example, but we still tell the truth. We have to give up our tongue. Similarly, if you tell the truth, I will remove your eye. We just give up our eyes, tell the truth, for example. So that kind of thing is more difficult than previous too. If we can pass that kind of step, sure, this is called medium precepts. Medium Bharami perfection. So if we dare sacrifice with our life for precepts, it will be ultimate perfection. So, in the case of Bodhisattva, he had to give up many lives for his precepts. Sometimes we also can hear many things like that in Myanmar. The one bhikkhu, he practices Dudanga. Dudanga, you know already, only 1 meal, for example. Finally, stomach problem. And then he must be he was hospitalized. In the hospital, the doctor recommended him to have extra food. 2 meals a day, for example. He rejected. Keep observing Dudanga. Finally, he passed away. So that means, if we just know normally, this is extreme, too extreme. But in his point of view, he dare face death for his precepts. Then, anyway, the main thing is, actually, for about the Dudanga, not that much recommendable. What also didn't recommend for all the bhikkhus. If we have strong body, strong health, we can do. If we're weak enough, we can also stop Dudanga. It's very flexible. Okay, the main point is, very, very minor precepts. That means regular precepts like killing, stealing, that kind of things. These are actually more important. Tridanga is extra. Although we don't practice, no problem. Okay? So that means our daily life. So if we can do all these things, that means we have very strong Sila Parami. Then Buddha also explained many other Parami. Dana, Sila, Nikama Parami, renunciation. Right? Renunciation also actually very many things to explain. For example, if we have strong attachment to family, properties, we're going to give up. No renunciation. If we have less attachment to family and properties, we can renounce. So that's mean renunciation means giving up all the sensual pleasure. This is called renunciation. So the Buddha gave up everything. So okay, you can imagine all other precepts, all other perfections. Okay, so here time is very limited. I cannot explain all the perfection, right? Anyway, so the Buddha explained how he fulfilled parami. Then, not only that, I have say 3 types of contact practicing for the welfare of all over the world, for about the relatives or mankind, for one's own experience or knowledge, all these things. After practicing, after fulfilling parami, very long times, the Buddha attained Buddhahood. Then, in the case of the parami also, we have to remember a little bit more. That one is it. The first one is the Nirandara Bhavana, continuously fulfilling parami. Very long time, continuously fulfilling. Sometimes we must have a habit. If we have a habit, if we do continuously, then when we stop, we feel something we have to do. It becomes habit already. That's what we have to do continuously. Another one is a Chirangala Bhavana, long time. Long time means, for example, 1 day is long enough for meditation. If you can do 2 days, 3 days, it's longer. Compared to 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 day, longer. So the longer we can do, the better it will be. The more skillful we are. So sometimes we meditate very long time, but not that much skillful. That means we need something to change. Right? Well, sometimes when you meditate, I come to power. They ask, I have been practicing meditation 10 years, 20 years. Then I have to explain. It's not very important how long you meditate. It's very important. The most important thing is how skillful you are. Right? So if you are skillful, although 1 week you can see the nimitta. If you are not very skillful, 10 years cannot see anything. It depends on the skill. In the case of parami, also skill. Without skill, Buddha also cannot fulfill parami. Even in dana, we must be skillful. Sila, we must be skillful. In any other parami, we must be skillful. Without skill, we cannot fulfill any parami. That's why here the Buddha do very long time, also with skill. Very skillful. Then again, the next one. The next one is Sabha Sambhara Bhavana. That means no discount. If we say 8 precepts, no discount, fully 8 precepts, don't remove anyone. If we say 10 precepts, no discount, total fully 10. If we say Sama Samadhi is jhana, no discount, it must be jhana. Right? So that means we have to fulfill all the things we have to do. I have said, when you are going to applying for a job, you must be qualified enough for that job. Similarly, when you are going to attain Nibbana, you must be qualified enough. This is a certificate for you. Then again, Sakkaja Bhavana. We must fulfill respectfully. That means for example, dana, we must respect receiver, we must also respect donation. Respect me, donation me, we have to prepare donation properly. This is called respect. Then, if we can do for all these things, this parami becomes stronger. I said 4, right? The first one is continuously doing, long time doing. Another thing is no discounts, right? Qualify enough. And now the last one, respectfully. If we can do all these things, it becomes stronger parami, perfection. Then the Buddha explained how he fulfilled parami in detail to the audience. Then they gain the faith in the Buddha. Their mind became very flexible, delighted. So after discourse, it's already night, they left. Nobody invited the Buddha for a meal the next day. Then the next morning, the Buddha recollects what is the nature of the Buddha. All the previous Buddha also, if there's no donuts, they just went for Pinabada, arms round. So the next day, accompanied by all the bhikkhus, the Buddha entered Kapilavatthu for alms food. Then, at the time, Yasodhara also overhearing Buddha was going to Savatthi for Pindapada. He opened the window and from the corridor, she saw the Buddha. She wanted to see how the Buddha looked like now. Now because of ray, his face is brighter, also more glorious. When seeing that, he praised Buddha appearance, also showing her son. This is your father. He had that kind of quality and something like that. It became collections of stanza. Then when the King Sododana, overhearing the news of his son going for Pindapada, feel sorry. Then he followed the Buddha and also asked, why you go for begging? I am rich enough to offer you. Do you think I am not rich enough to offer to serve all the Sangha? He complained many things. Then the Buddha, this is the nature of previous Buddha. Then the Buddha explained. The Buddha gave a stanza, short stanza to him. When standing, the ordinary person must not be negligent. Then the ordinary person should practice Dhamma while standing. Then one who already practiced Dhamma can live peacefully in this very life, also hereafter. So the Buddha explained that stanza to his father. Then the father could attain the first path and fruition knowledge, Sotapatti. So here Buddha mentioned Dhamma Chari Sukhan Siti. Dhamma practitioners can live peacefully or happily. Asmin Loke Paramita, here or hereafter. In this very life or in any other future lives. We can live peacefully and happily. When hearing that, can rejoice, also can penetrate the truth, then he could attain the first path and fruition knowledge. Then the king brought the Buddha bow and brought the Buddha to the palace. At the time, Mahapajapati Gautami was also waiting for the Buddha, preparing many foods, prepared the seats. When the Buddha had seated in the prepared seat, then the Buddha delivered another stanza to both the king and the queen. Then also they say, when living also, we must not be negligent. One who can practice Dhamma, then he can rejoice here and hereafter. He can live happily here and hereafter. When hearing that the king could attain Sakadagami path and fruition knowledge, the queen can attain the first path of fruition knowledge, Sodapatti. So this is the very beginning of Buddha's life. Okay, second day. King Sorana could attain 2 paths of fruition knowledge, but Prajapati Gautami attain the first path of fruition knowledge. At the very day, the Buddha also visited Yasodhara, but Yasodhara cannot attain anything. Buddha also delivered Janakini Jataka there. Then later, you have already know, Nanda, Buddha's younger brother, was also ordained by the Buddha. Then Yasodhara also sent her son to see the Buddha, also to ask for inheritance. Then the Buddha also knew that if I give other treasure, it can be danger, not that much useful for whole samsara. Now I will give supra-mundane treasure, so I'm saying jewelry. So, okay, here I should say supra-mundane jewelry. We can say noble jewelry. That one is the saddha, confidence or faith. This is one of the jewelry. So this means when we have saddha, we can get everything. If we don't have saddha, we cannot do anything. Now I have to say no discount, right? If we don't have enough saddha, no, we have many discounts. Right? Even dana also we may discount. Right? Sila also many discounts. Then similarly, samadhi also many discounts. Vipassana also discounts. Finally, we have very cheap meditation. Right? So this means if we just like easy one, cheaper one, this means we don't have saddha. Our saddha become weaker and weaker, decline. Finally, after practicing, no more confidence with attainment. So that's one. Saddha is also one of the jewelry. When we have saddha, we can get everything. We are trying everything. Then sila. This is also supra-mundane treasure. For example, you may have a jewelry, right? If you wear jewelry, necklace or necklace is very dangerous. Right? It's dangerous. People can see, they can see. If in the secluded place, they can also kill to get the one. Dangerous. So now, Buddha also mentioned among the jewelry, morality, the jewel of morality is the best. We have many decoration. All the decoration can be beautifying people only short time. When we have morality, the morality can beautify us whole life, whole samsara. That's why this is a special decoration. Also jewelry. Then sutta. Okay, here I better compare two things: sutta and panya. Sutta means knowledge, panya means wisdom. We translate like that. If we translate, you can get confused. That's why I will explain one by one. Sutta means dhamma knowledge. Wisdom means inside knowledge. Two different. So dhamma knowledge means if we can learn 1 Pitaka, 2 Pitaka, or 3 Pitaka, this is called dhamma knowledge. If we cannot learn whole Pitaka, we can learn only 1 Nikaya, 2 Nikaya, 3 Nikaya, 4 Nikaya, or one of the 5 Nikaya. This is also knowledge. We call sutta. Then panya. If we say panya, very basic one is karma sakata panya, karma ownership knowledge. That means we believe in karma is a result. Actually, that one is not that much easy. After practicing, depending on origination, we have that kind of knowledge. Real knowledge. Before that, we cannot theoretical knowledge. Okay? Just learning knowledge. Then we also have the samadhimaya jhana panya, wisdom of the jhana, inside knowledge, also one of the panya, path knowledge, fruition knowledge. All these are called panya, wisdom. Then, now I have to say, Sada, Sila, Sutta, and Panya, right? I want to say Jaga, charity, offering. This is also jewelry. So that means if we have many jewelry, we're going to bring all these things into future life. If we have dana, these are jewelry we can bring wherever we go. Then again, Hiri Otapa, moral shame and moral fear. So these two are the protector of the world. That's why they are also called jewelry. So when we have these two, we observe precept very well. If we don't have these two, we will not observe precept very well. They are also proximate cause of sila, morality. That's why they are also called jewel. Okay, now the Buddha wished to give only supra-mundane jewel or treasure to his son. That's why he asked Venerable Sariputta to ordain Rahula. Then after ordination, Father Surodhana was happy, came to see the Buddha, and also requested one thing. My son, please don't ordain anybody who is not allowed by the parents. He just also explained his own feeling. When you renounce the words, I feel alone. Also, I feel very deep sorry. Now, at the time, I thought, okay, if my older son cannot be the king, I can expect younger son, Nanda. Nanda can be the king. Then you brought Nanda and ordained. I'm helpless. Okay, now two of my son were ordained, no problem. I have my grandson. I hope my grandson can be the king, universal monarch in one day. Also, Rahula's appearance also very same to Buddha's appearance, totally the same. That's why he expected one day his grandson will be very glorious king in his country. He expected. Now, he also bring my grandson and also ordain. Then he said, I'm helpless. That's why the love of parents is wasn't like all the parents love their son, right? It's like the love on the skin, on the side of the skin, for example. But the love for the grandson is deeper than skin, up to the bone marrow. Right? This is his simile. He just gave. So I love my son. The love for son is like a skin. But when the love for grandson is cut the skin, cut the flesh, cut the sinew or the artery, cut the bone up to the bone marrow. It's very deep love. That's why I feel very deep sorrow. That's why please don't ordain anybody who is not allowed by the parents. Then what are they on the rules at the time? Okay? So this is a Vinaya rules for ordination. So later when the Buddha explained another sutta called Dhammapala Jataka. So that means one day the Buddha was in the palace. The king talked to his son, the Buddha. When you were practicing in the Uruvela forest, many of devas came and informed me that you passed away. That I believe that my son, I also talked to them, my son cannot die without attaining Buddhahood. I have that kind of confidence with you. Then the Buddha also talked to him. Now you are very mature in Parami. You have very strong Parami already. You may not believe. When you are fulfilling Parami, although not that much mature yet, you haven't believed the same things happen to you in my existences. Then what is that the king requested? Then the Buddha explained Dhammapala Jataka. So I will summarize the Jataka. In that Jataka, Bodhisattva was a student in the university of other country. The professor, son, passed away when he was very young. Then all the students also feel sad. All the family also have sad. The many people feel sad. The Bodhisattva is called Dhammabala. His name is also Dhammabala. He said, it is impossible. Why young people die? Right? Then many of other students say, whether young or old, we can die anytime. No, young people cannot die. Only old people can die. Big argument like that. Many of the students say, but he still rejected. He just defends. Impossible. Young people shouldn't die. Only old people can die. Then all the students brought him to the professor. Then teacher, he's talking about death. He said, young people cannot die, only old person can die. We cannot talk to him, he just said the same things. Then the teacher also asked him again, is it truth? Only young people can die? Yes, in our village only old people die. Young people never die. Then the teacher decided I should investigate. If it's something beneficial, I should practice that one. I mean, some special practice in their place. So the teacher brought bone of goat. He collected many bones from the butcher house, and he collected bone tied up together. Also carry to his village, a little far. So when arrival, he asked, where is Dhammabala's house? Many people know where is that, so they guide him. On arrival, he showed the bow. This is your son's bow. He passed away. I'm sorry to inform you. Talk to the father. The father laughed at him. Then, why? Are you crazy? You hearing the teacher asked, also are you go crazy when hearing your son death? No, I'm not crazy. It's impossible. My son cannot die. That's why I'm this. You just say funny story to me. It's a big joke to me. That's why I just laugh at you. Then many of you also talk to many people. Many people also came to see the teacher. Then he said, Dhammabala died. He said, then all the people laugh at him. Now, why? You are laughing at me like that. It cannot be my teacher's bow. Maybe you just bring some animal's bow. Then finally, the teacher asked, why do not people die in your village when young? Then the Dhammabala fathers explain all the good practice, good actions. For example, I have explained right speech, right actions, right livelihood, everything. Also mentioned they are very respect to the Dhamma. That's why they can live long. So when young, nobody will die. All the people will be more than 100 years old. After more than 100 years, they pass away, they die. Then, when hearing that the teacher also note down all the things they say, they try to remember everything. Then he came back. He also taught his disciple, also became prophet. So the Buddha explained that one. At the end of that discourse, the king could attain Anagami path and fruition knowledge. The queen also can attain Sakadagami path and fruition knowledge. So the Buddha spent only a few days, less than 1 month, in his palace, native town. Then we can also understand, from time to time, the Buddha visited his family before his father passed away. Maybe every year, maybe. but he didn't spend Vassa there. Then, after that, after a few days, maybe a few weeks, the Buddha left. Then King Sudarana encouraged many of royal families to send boys or men to the Buddhas to be ordained there. He also recommended, my son is from second clans. All our second prince or princess should accompany the Buddha. That's why thousands of men are sent to the Buddha. And they were ordained in Nubia forest. Buddha also spends a little bit longer time in Nubia forest. In that forest also another group. That is a Venerable Ananda's group. So at the time Ananda, also prince, he also wished to be ordained. Then similarly Anuruddha, Kimila, Bhagu, and also Devadatta. At the time the king was a Badiya. The Badiya is not 5 bhikkhus, this is another Badiya. Among the 5 bhikkhus there's a Badiya. This Badiya is the king. Previous Badiya is a Brahmin, this one is the king. So Anuruddha, the prince Anuruddha also wished to be ordained, but when he requested from his mother didn't disagree. That means mother said, I have only 2 sons. I don't wish you to be ordained. Then elder brother also say, if you wish to ordain, I also allow you. If you don't wish to ordain, I will ordain. So 2 brothers are very harmonious, very flexible. Then one more thing. Anuruddha has very little knowledge about worldly life. That means one day they debate about the rice. Where can we get the rice, for example, right? Then many other princes say, the rice, we can get the rice from petty fee. No, the rice can get only the store warehouse. Warehouse. Anuruddha said, no, you are wrong. The rice can get only the silver bowl. Sorry, golden bowl. He didn't know how they get rice. Then at the time when the 2 brothers were discussing about ordination, elder brother is Mahanama. Later he became the king. When Bhattiya renounced, he became the king. Then Mahanama said, if you don't wish to ordain, I will ordain. The younger brother said, I am so subtle. I also have very little knowledge about worldly things. In ordinary life, we have to suffer many things. I should live in household life, you better ordain. Then elder brother also said, if you live in lay life, you must also learn how to survive. Okay, please explain me only one of them. How to survive. Okay, I will explain only the farmer, how to farm, for farming. He explained from time to time, you have to plow, and by the fee, after that, you have to grow the plants, then you have to drain water. Many things explained very much in detail. Then Anuruddha asked, after 21 years is finished? No, next year you have to do again. So he didn't know many things about worldly life. If like this, I shouldn't live in household life, I better ordain. Then when he requested, his mother did disagree. He asked again and again, many times. Finally, mother trying to plead him, say, if you are friends, Bhattiya ordain, I allow you. She thought Bhattiya will not ordain because he was a king. The king cannot give up his country, he may not ordain, he thought. Anuruddha Bhuli Bhatia. The first time he said, we should go and ordain. Now my mother, allow me if you ordain. Bhatia said, now I'm in the camp, I'm very busy. It's not very easy for me to be ordained urgently. Then, how long should I wait? Okay, we'll wait around 7 years. It's too long. Then say, okay, 6 years, too long. Then I will say 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. Still saying too long. 6 months, too long. 5 months again, 4 months, 3 months, 1 month. Also too long. He say again. After that 1 week. Finally, okay, 1 week is not very long, so he waits. After arranging everything, they left the country. Dora was in Nubia forest at the time. They have only one attendant. There's one of the Baba, their Baba. This is called Ubali. So on the way, when they are closer and closer to Mala, actually Nubia was other country already, not their country. So they shouldn't go with their attendants or all the armies. So they give all the jewelry to Ubali and send them back to their palace. Later, Ubali also thought all the princes, they are give up all the jewelry. That is their saliva. Consume all the jewelry, all the decoration. These are their saliva. Why should I swallow their saliva? Then he gave up everything. He followed them, and he also ordained. So in brief, on the way back to Rajagaha, there we are ordained. At the very years, we can say the second Vassa, the Buddha spent in Rajagaha. Also, simultaneously, continuously, third Vassa, fourth Vassa, 3 Vassa successfully, Buddha spent in Rajagaha. So, at the first Vassa, Venerable Bhattacharya could attain arhatship. So he has to practice 1 Vassa. After that he attained arhatship. Then Venerable Anuruddha, in that very Vassa, he could attain psychic power, the divine eyes, very powerful divine eyes. You could see 1,000 watt system. Then Venerable Kimila and Baku attain arhatship very later. Then Venerable Devadatta attain only psychic power. So 5 psychic powers. Then Venerable Ananda also attained Sotapanna. After listening, it is called given by Venerable Puna, one of the Brahmin. Okay, yeah, I have to talk about Puna also, right? So Venerable Puna is the nephew of Venerable Anyasi Kwananya. He is the nephew. So Venerable Puna explained, it stands up to him. Not stands up, it discourse to him. That's it. Tibrivada Desana. I have explained Tibrivada Desana means, for example, material aggregate is permanence or impermanence. Impermanent Benedavasa. Impermanent is it Sukha or Dukkha. Dukkha Benedavasa. If it's impermanence and Dukkha, there's a self or non-self. We can say non-self Benedavasa, like that. That cannot discourse. At the end of that discourse, Venerable Ananda could attain Sodapatipatha fruition knowledge. Later he also could attain analytical knowledges. So whole life, he cannot attain any other things. As long as Buddha is alive, he couldn't attain any other thing. After Buddha's pre-nibbana, he attained arhatship. So these are their attainments. Now one more thing, only Venerable Ubali. Later he became Vinaya expert. Okay? So now 10 minutes. I think it's long enough to talk about Anara Bindika, right? Okay. One more thing. That one is second Vassa in Rajagaha. When did Anarabindika offer Jetavana monastery? This is also questionable. Actually, Anarabindika met the Buddha in Rajagaha, although he lived in Savatthi. So his family is in Savatthi, but his sister was in Rajagaha. There's me married age. So he has to follow her husband. She has to follow her husband. Then she lived in Rajagaha. Whenever Narabindika came to Rajagaha, his brother-in-law and his sister and his niece and nephews came to see him on the way. They go together to their house and talk many things. At that time, when Buddha was in Rajagaha, nobody came and bring him to their house. Although he arrived at home, nobody take care of him. All the people are busy, including his brother-in-law. So they can speak only in the dinner table. In the dinner table, then Narabindika asks his brother-in-law, so now your family are very busy. All the family members are very busy. So that means, do you have any ceremony, wedding ceremony? That means his niece and nephew are wedding, maybe going to what? Go to marriage. Then a wedding ceremony? No wedding ceremony. So that means, if there are any important person will come to your house, like the king minister will come to your house, or any other important person will come to your house? No, nobody will come. Only the Buddha will come. Then on hearing the name Buddha, hair rising. Then he couldn't believe his ear. Asked his brother-in-law again, do you say the word Buddha? Yes, I have said. Buddha will come to our house tomorrow. We have already invited the Buddha and Buddha's sanghas here. So in his mind, only one thing, Buddha. Repeating the same things. His mind just, although he had never seen the Buddha, he's recalling only the same one, Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. His mind only this one. Then he go and slept. He went and slept in his bedroom. Also still recalling, he fell asleep. Because of very strong joint or rupture, the light appeared in his body. Very bright light. He thought, oh, it's already sunrise. Sunrising. He got up. When he looked around, everybody is sleeping. Not yet. Actually, it's midnight. Then he tried to sleep again. The same very bright light appear. Cannot sleep. Wake up. Then he thought it's already sunlight. But when he looked around, nobody. Sleep again. The third time, he cannot wait to see the Buddha. Then he decided to leave the house to see the Buddha. So it's a little bit dark, but his body emitted the light. He could see many things. When he was closer and closer to the city gate, then there's all the Asian culture, especially Indian culture. When somebody passed away at night, they will not throw away that dead body to cemetery. They just throw away near the gate. When he was going to pass the gate of the city gate, that means his leg touched one of the dead body. Scare, also the light disappear. He thought, oh, now it's dark, I should go back. Then one of the Deva, Yaka Deva, without showing his body, he just encouraged him, please continue your journey. It's more valuable than thousands of elephants, thousands of horses, thousands of jewelries, and many things. He praised the journey. When hearing that, he knew, oh, there's somebody with me. So he continues his journey. So between the monastery and city, there's also cemetery. Ancient time, cemeteries we call Amaka Susana. Amaka Susana means they don't bury or they don't burn, they just throw away the dead body there. Like that. When he was going to pass the channel ground, many dogs, fox, jackals, they are fighting, noisy. When hearing their sound, also scare, they like disappear. The same, Deva encouraged him to continue. Also, he stepped on one of the dead body. Many flies come out, flying at the time, also scare. Then the previous Deva encouraged him to see the Buddha. After passing the cemetery is closer to the monastery, he thought, many people know me as Anara Pendika because I give foods and many things to homeless. Nobody know my personal name. If the Buddha can know my personal name, then it will make me happy. The Buddha is waiting for him, based up and down in the gate of the monastery. Then, when Narapindika was getting closer, the Buddha called him, Sudatta, please come. His personal name is Sudatta. When hearing that, oh, this is me, Buddha also can reach my mind. Very happy, he listened, discourse. Here it doesn't mention what kind of discourse. You can say Anubhavikata. At the end, he could attain Sotapatti. Then he also invited the Buddha for meal in Rajagaha. So at the very day, his brother-in-law will offer. Next day, he went to offer. Invited the Buddha. Then when he came back home, he also talked to his brother-in-law. Brother-in-law said, I should have you. You are here visitor. Nobody. Then he didn't say anything. He himself arranged everything and offered the Buddha. Then finally, he invited the Buddha to his city, Savatthi. So he also asked many of his friends on the way to base temporary hut for the Buddha. He himself also arranged special place for the Buddha, Jetavana Monastery. So in the very Vassa, he tried to build the monastery. After Vassa, the Buddha visited Savatthi. This is the first time the Buddha go to Savatthi after the second Vassa. Okay, so today time's up. Okay, so that means Nara Bindika is good donor. The Buddha explained many discourse to him. One more thing. Whenever the Buddha explained discourse to Nara Bindika, the Buddha will never talk about Anicca Dukkha Anatta or Namarupa or Vipassana. The Buddha just explained how to live as a householder, a good householder. For example, happiness. There are four kinds of happiness. The first one, Ati Sukha. When you possess many things, it makes you happiness. Although you have many things, then if you cannot use, also not that much happiness. That's why. Second one, Bhoga Sukha. If you can use, if you have only usable properties, it makes you happiness. Then another thing is Ananya Sukha. If you are free from debt, you have happiness. So sometimes we have many properties, we also can use many things, we also have many debt. Right? This is not really very good, right? That's why Buddha say, we must have many things, or they must be usable, useful for us. Then we must also free from debt. This can make you happiness. Finally, the Buddha also say, blameless happiness, anavacha sukha. So if you don't have any faults, any mistakes, nobody will complain. That's I'm free from mistakes. This means if we can observe precept very well, this is also happiness. The Buddha explains that kind of things. Buddha will never talk about Anicca Dukkha Anatta or Namarupa. This is we can study about Narapindika in many suttas. Only his death moment. Venerable Sariputra talk about Vipassana. Not Buddha, Venerable Sariputra. Okay? So that means there are many useful suttas for Narapindika. All these suttas are very useful for lay devotees, householder. If I have opportunity, when we arrive at Savatthi, I have to explain again. It will be very far, right? Not only second Vassa, right? Okay, so may you all be able to practice Buddha's teaching. Also, may you all be able to realize the final cessation, Nibbana. Any other question? Huh? No more? Okay, no more we can share. Okay, what?
Thank you, Pandey, to give Dhamma talk. Very interesting. Pandey, in Myanmar have one shadow, very popular, lady shadow.
Lady shadow.
Just now, Pandey has saying the Panadipada. Lady shadow, why shadow say, don't kill the cow.
Don't kill the cow.
Don't eat cow. Why?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Many people complain that one. Many of other people also complain that one. Right? So that means the cow is a helper. We have to most of the country are depending on agriculture. Right? We have to use the bull for bluffing. That's why in memory of their gratitude, we shouldn't kill and eat. The Lady Shadow said that one. Then many others, bhikkhu also complain. Why you say only the cow or bull? You just have only compassion towards only cow and bull. Then you don't have compassion towards any other animals. The Lady Shadow replied, I don't have enough time to bring all other animals. That's why I have to bring only the cow. He say, then now you have plenty of time. You should bring all other animals. Okay.
In the Sutta Mahasatipatthana, the beginning Buddha have explained. Because of Tanha, we have Domanassa. Just Tanha can cause so many dukkha, then we around this samsara. Why Buddha just say one Tanha only?
So, actually, the word I use two, Tanha and Avijja, two, not one. That means Tanha we have a craving because of covered by Avijja. So this means if we without knowing the truth, undesirable object becomes desirable object. We are cheated by ignorance. That's why many things with this nice, beautiful everything. So which are covered, then Tanha have attachment. Okay, so Tanha can be associated with the wrong view, Tanha can be associated with mana, pride, both. So they will arise together. Okay, okay.
between the Brahma and the Buddha. You say Buddha also can read our mind, right? Is there any difference? No? The differences?
So, for about the power, not much different. Reading mind power. But Buddha can reach faster than others because of Buddha can enter to the attainment very quickly, quicker than others. So, now is it maybe detail, maybe. Buddha can know more in detail. Second power. One more thing. Buddha. So, that means for second power, without second power, so we can practice vipassana. That's why Buddha didn't say you must practice second power. And we cannot say don't encourage also. The Buddha didn't recommend for anybody that much seriously. Without second power, also we can attain pacification knowledge. Even his own attainment, he didn't talk about 80 Vita or many other. He just said very simple: recollection of past existence, and also only the divine eyes. Only 2 second power he mentioned. Many sutras, when we study before he get enlightenment. Also, he just mentioned in the first watch of the night, I attain Pubbinivasanosati, the knowledge of recollecting past existences. Second watch of the night, I attain divine eyes. The last watch of the night, I attain headship. Buddha mentioned only 3. He didn't mention all other attainment. Let me only summarize. So that means not that much encouraged. We cannot say not that much recommended. Okay? Any other? First practice me. Not that when he renounced the world. This is because of past karma. No, because of past karma. Recompense. Well, that means in the previous life, in the Kassapa Buddha dispensation, when Kassapa Buddhas attain Buddhahood within, I think, 6 days. He attained Buddhahood. After renouncing only 6 days, he could attain Buddhahood. At the time, Buddha Bodhisattva was a Jodhipala, a Brahmin. He couldn't believe. Then he also spread the news. It's impossible. Within 6 days, he could attain Buddhahood. If it's possible like that, I will practice 6 years. He said like that. Then this karma arriving here. Okay.
Bali, I got one question about the the Abhidhamma one with the subconscious.
Subconscious.
Because we learn that something arises, then the mind door, all that, right? And then all those like the eye and all that, then the formation, all that. Then like for thoughts, then I read it's like it first birth in the subconscious. Then the subconscious is like instantly it goes into the thought. When you start thinking it instantly the subconscious transfer that like imprint image into the thought. Then it produce the karma, that kind of thing lah. So like in the Abhidhamma, because I seldom see like this kind of explanation, but this one is another place I see lah about. It's the Sri Lanka Bhikkhu who explain mindfulness. They explain about subconscious and like our habit. We have this imprint of like why is it some people they always think of certain thing, whether wholesome or unwholesome, maybe the memory or what, or it can be grievances. Something unfair happened, then you keep thinking of that thing that has happened to you. So it can be like a habitual kind of thing that always think of it, right? But it says it actually start in the birth of the subconscious, then it instantly transfer into the thought. So I don't know how does this relate to the Abhidhamma, And is there a more clearer explanation, like why is this habitual forming or not?
Okay, so actually we have the either 4 reasons of arising wholesome deed and something like that. I don't remember all the 4 maybe. For example, the first one is as we say now, habit. Habit, huh? This is one of the reasons. So if we have a habit of thinking good action all the time, especially we better say positive thinking. Positive. We have more positive thinking, more wholesome mind. We can also say wise attention. If we use wise attention, this is we get a bit of my tongue, right? If you positive thinking, it will be easier to understand. More positive thinking, then it will be better say like wholesome. We have more negative thinking, then there will be, but it will be very close to, very near to unwholesome. So the first one is that kind of habit. What kind of thinking habit we have? We have always negative or positive. Right? Then another thing is, sorry, I don't remember all the 4. Okay, anyway, now another one is we have another 4. That one is the self-restraint. Self-restraint. So all the things people according to the habit. Now self-restraint, this is our practice. How we train ourselves. So we have to train our mind slowly. If we can change, there will be more wise attention, more positive thinking. Right? So there can be many other supporting causes, reading the books, or listening to Dhamma talk, something like that. So gradually we can change like that. So as you say now, subconsciousness or many other things. Actually in Vidama also we have many other explanations, not like Sri Lanka style. Right? Sometimes many Myanmar bhikkhu scare that kind of things. That means we don't want to interpret like modern things, like a science or something. We don't want to compare Buddha with science or anything. This is the Myanmar culture. Sri Lanka culture, they were trying to compare with Buddhism and science, for example, that kind of things. Myanmar bhikkhu just like that kind of things. That means we have to preserve Buddha's tradition and Buddha tradition. Don't compare with anything. It's gonna be the same. So that means, for example, the residing consciousness, for example. Residing consciousness. We get a subconsciousness. According to the current condition, right? We can also understand like that. But we better don't compare like that. If we compare, it will get confused. Later we will have another info. Science is always changing. Right? So now this one truth, next week is not truth. We better don't compare. If new thing happen, the problem we have to find another solution. We just busy unnecessarily. So Abhidhamma should be Abhidhamma. Right? Okay? Okay? Now, any other question? Okay, no question. We'll share merit, right? Ita Jami, right? Ita Vada Jami Sambadam Bunya Sambadam Sabbe Deva Numodandu Sabba Sambati Siddhiya Idame Jajame Sambadam Bunya Sambadam Sabbe Buddha Numodandu Sabba Sambati Siddhiya Ita Vada Jami Sambadam Bunya Sambadam Sabbe Sadanu Modandu Sabba Sambati Siddhiya Idame Nyadina Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyadayo Idame Nyadina Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyadayo Idame Nyadina Hodu Sukhita Hondu Nyadayo Idame Bunyam Asawakaya Waham Hodu Idame Bunyam Nibbanasa Pajayo Hodu Mama Bunya Bhagam Sabbasadanam Bhajemi De Sabe Me Sama Bunya Bhagam Lavandu Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.